Welcome to Talk of the Town, and I'm your host, Ellen Barrett, and we are starting off our show today with Debbie Huff Tunison. Did I get the last name right?
Yes, you did.
I did, and you are the owner of Deborah's Frame Garden. Thank
I am.
you so much for being with us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Now, I want to start off with, tell me a little about what's happening at the flower shop that's been there for 26 years, it sounds like, the Rose Cottage at 3010 Atwood Avenue on Madison's East Side.
Well, the owners have really expanded their flower shop business, and so they expanded to 2 locations. And they invited me to bring my picture framing business into this location so we can keep the flower shop, still have the flower shop in the neighborhood, and there's room for me as well.
Awesome. So it's good for everybody.
Yes.
Kind of bringing something different to that store location while they're also expanding, which is great for them too.
It's really exciting.
Awesome. I love it.
I'm really happy for them.
Yeah, for sure. And so what are some of the services offered at the Atwood Avenue Rose Cottage Florist, and now with you there as well?
Well, there's always a full-time floral designer, a experienced floral, one of them. And you can still come in and get your loose bouquet or order something for a sympathy arrangement or make a quick corsage, or and also still order things to be delivered. And then with the addition of the custom framing, it's just additional, and art, there's just more things to offer.
Yeah, awesome. So kind of sounds like, customers can come in. Maybe you're thinking you're just coming in for a floral arrangement and you might leave with some more.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like.
It's kind of exciting, yeah.
So what are some of the benefits of having these 2 separate businesses kind of come together in one space?
Well, it's sharing it's nice to share a space. It's kind of an efficient way to, if the flower shop hours are done, I can continue with the framing hours and, expand more, have more availability to the customers and the neighbors. One person can come in for like a mixed bouquet and leave going, hey, I have a print I bought at that art show last summer. I'm going to come back and frame that. So it's like, and then also somebody might come in for my mosaic workshops, and then they'll leave with some fresh flowers. So it's kind of a win-win-win.
You said mosaic.
Yeah.
Now what is that?
A mosaic is, it's a painting, and then I'm using my leftover picture framing glass. So it's just clear glass over a painted image, and then we grout it. And when you grout it, then you sealed it, and that's why it's kind of a nice thing for outdoor art, house numbers.
Oh, wow.
And here's another, my husband says, you're an artist, stop making numbers and do a painting. So I listened to him, and we came up with things more like this.
So it's painting underneath.
Yeah, this is just a painting.
And then glass on top, and then you're just putting in, you're grouting it.
Right, I cut the glass to kind of fit the images and the pieces, and then grout it and paint the grout.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
So I like that, mosaic. So kind of like
I had
a
to play with the name.
mosaic.
Right.
I like it. Very cool. That's so fun. And would you say, is that easier than creating a mosaic and trying to deal with different pieces of glass?
I've had people say it's easier, and you can make your own shape that way.
That's true.
I've had people, but also people like, oh, I have to cut all this glass to fit it, but it's, if you're used to cutting glass, that's fine. If you're not.
So something just different maybe too.
Yeah, it is something, just a different way to do something.
Yeah.
And using old cabinet doors. So
oh, very cool. Oh, I didn't even notice that. That is so cool.
It's from tear
What a
out,
cool way to reuse,
Right, because you can't recycle picture or lead, or picture like glass or window glass that has lead in it. So I'm keeping it out of the landfill.
Very cool. And I know you mentioned too that you do custom picture framing.
I do, yes.
Tell me about your experiences as a custom picture framer.
Oh, well, I've been framing since, in Racine I started in like 1989, and I worked with a really amazing woman who taught me all kinds of really cool things. And then I moved to Muskego, and I worked in Mukwonago at another little picture framing place and a couple other places like that. And then I had a job where I needed to stay there for it. I was like being a kitchen designer, and I had to, I couldn't just leave and go to the picture framing job. So my coworkers said, why don't you do it out of your home? So I started as home-based.
Oh, very cool.
When I moved to Madison, my husband and I, our apartment got kind of small for a home-based business, so I took a leap, and now you can find me at the Rose Cottage.
Awesome. And I hear you do some classes too and workshops, and we're going to run out of time here, so we can't go through all of them.
Oh, that's okay.
But where can people reach out to you if they want to learn, what workshops you do, and if they want to come try it out and even try a mosaic? Oh,
you could reach me through Facebook, or also my telephone number, or just drop in. And Wednesday, tomorrow actually, I'm going to be doing it's going to be at the DeForest location at 627 South Main Street.
Okay.
And it'll be like from 5 to 7. I'll be doing an artist demonstration of the mosaic, and so if anyone wants to actually pop in and take a look and see what they can do there, I'll be also offering classes for that location as well.
I love it. Debbie Huff-Tunison, thank you so much for being with us today, again with Deborah's Frame Garden.
Thank you.
And Talk of the Town will be back with more right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and I'm joined now by Tim DeBile, and you are the coach and the GM of the Madison Radicals. And for those of you who don't know, that's Madison's American Ultimate Disc League team.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, I mean, we try to just say AUDL.
Perfect.
But,
just so people know what it means, right?
Yep.
And now you guys have wrapped up your season. It was championship weekend. It was here in Madison not too long ago. How did that go? Was it a big success?
Yeah, it was a huge success. It was by far the best championship weekend we've had in the league. For our game Saturday night, there was over 3,000 people out, and it was an incredible game, which we lost 26-25. We led the whole way, and then kind of right at the end, they scored the last goal. So
Right.
it's a little frustrating.
And that was going to be my next question, because I did catch a little bit of the end of the game, and it was just so close. And I mean, you guys didn't win, but man, what a road to get there. I mean, what was your home game winning streak?
Yeah, we were on a 31-game home win streak before that game, and we started out really hot that game, and we were up 7 with about 10 minutes left or 12 minutes left, and had kind of one of our worst endings to a game we've ever had.
Sure.
But a lot of people are calling it sort of the best AUDL game they've ever watched. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a team on a 31-game home win streak playing for a championship game and they're up 7 with
Right.
A quarter left and somehow lose, I think it makes for really good TV.
Well, and I'm sure just two really great teams, going head to head. And like you said, you guys had the home field advantage here in Madison, so the stadium had to have just been filled at Breese-Stevens.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much standing room only, and I think that was one of the reasons that we lost in a way, is that
Sure.
I think that the pressure of playing in front of that many fans towards the end of the game started to get to guys, and I feel like we made a lot of mistakes that we didn't normally make, and I think everyone wanted to make sure we were in the championship game the next day, and so
Sure.
I think just we kind of fell apart a little bit in that last
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Good and bad, I suppose, to have that many fans there cheering for
Yeah,
you.
it was a really great experience for everybody. I
Right.
mean, we've gotten crowds of 1,400 before, but when you're at 3,000 plus, it was a whole different experience, and that stadium is incredibly cool too.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've been down there, but
Oh, yeah.
when it's full of people, it's a really neat experience because everybody's so close to the field. It's not like like last year we played out in San Jose at Avaya Stadium, which is this great MLS stadium, but you're really far away from the crowd, and you didn't even really notice they were there. Where at Breeze, it's like they're right on top of you, and it's really neat.
Right in on the action.
Yeah.
Now,
definitely.
as the coach, did you feel happy with the season and with the players, or what do you
Yeah,
think?
I mean, we had a great season. I mean, we won 15 games in a row, and then, we led through 90% of our last game, and, we had one quarter of bad play the whole year pretty much, and it just happened
Sure.
to be, the last quarter, so.
Now, do you think championship weekend will come back to Madison anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, I talked a lot to the league executives that were in town for the game, and they were really impressed with the stadium and the crowd and how close it is to downtown. I mean, everyone stayed right up on the square at the Hilton, so
Sure.
they could walk down. We had a shuttle bus, but I mean, most fans and owners and even the players just kind of walked around town. So I think it's a really great location, and I could see us coming back as soon as next year or
Wow.
2 to 3 years. Yeah, there's an opportunity. The talk has been that we're looking at Montreal and Dallas as cities, but they re-added Madison back into the mix to discuss it, which is a good sign. It's centrally located,
Yeah.
whereas Montreal, you're really kind of out on an island out there. So, I mean, I think there is talk of like the Final Four for college basketball always being in Indianapolis, that, if we could put on a great show like that every year, I think
Awesome.
the league would be really happy.
So it could happen back to back. So stay
It could.
tuned.
I suspect it won't happen next year, but I think that there is an opportunity to bring it back the following year
Right.
for sure. So.
Now, I know you guys are already starting to get started again in January for your season upcoming. So
Yep.
what can we expect to see from you guys next season before we go?
Well, I mean, we're going to come out and start practicing in January and try to find, we'll probably have 100 players from around the Midwest, and we'll try to add a little talent here and there and come back and actually win a championship next year. I mean, we've been really, really close the last 4 years. So.
One of these times. I think it's going to be that third time is a charm when you get to that third semifinal.
Yeah.
Coming
Yeah.
back with a vengeance. Awesome. Well, Tim DeVile, coach and GM of the Madison Radicals, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And Talk of the Town will be back with more right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and I'm joined now by Bill Lockwood, and you are a key account specialist with Acquire Restoration, Inc.
Correct.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And so we're going to talk about fire and water damage and also emergency services and kind of a little bit of everything that you guys do. And you guys offer so much to people.
Yes.
So I guess let's start off with that first. What do you guys do? What do you guys specialize in?
The main thrust of what we do is fire and water damage, cleanup and restoration work. But we
Sure.
also deal with other things such as mold, smoke, biohazard spills, trauma scene cleanup. We can deal with sensitive issues that might include lead and asbestos abatement and removal. So but overall, the water and fire damage is what makes up the bulk of the business that we do.
Wow.
And we provide those to commercial and residential properties in the markets that we serve.
But what a wide, coverage area of different services. Because I'm guessing, things like that happen. Maybe you have a fire or, emergency service cleanup, kind of like you mentioned.
Yes.
Things that you don't really think about that you'd have to handle until they happen to you and life happens to you, and then you need to know who to call.
Right, and if you did a quick survey, just walking down the street and said, name a restoration company,
Yeah.
90+% people wouldn't even be able to name one.
Right.
And so it's our job to get out there and make the right relationships with the right industries so that in their time of need, we'll be there for them.
Absolutely. Could you share a little bit of the history, too, for Acquire Inc. and how you guys kind of came to be?
Sure. Our owner, Jeff Edmonds, he started out in college and out of college in the construction industry. And then he transitioned over to restoration, working for one of the large national brands before he decided to open up his own restoration company in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. That was 10 years ago.
Okay.
Since that time, we've opened an office in Kaukauna. We've got our office here in Madison, which has been here for 5 years, and then we also have an office that we recently opened out in Waterloo, Iowa.
Nice.
It gives us a tremendous advantage in market coverage.
Absolutely. And what would you say is Acquire Restoration strengths? I mean, you guys already do so much, so I can imagine that's one of your strengths for sure.
Yes, well, everything starts with leadership. The owner, Jeff Edmonds, is just a tremendous visionary, and between him and Josh Duggan, the vice president, they pretty much set the culture for the company, setting up as far as the training, the policies, the standards, the certifications that we go out of our way to make sure that we have qualified individuals on the job site taking care of the work when they arrive at the scene.
Absolutely. And how would you say, too, that translates over to what customers will see?
Well, a good thing for the customers, when our phones ring, people are generally in a very high emotional frame of mind.
I can imagine.
And so it's our job to kind of start that healing process, if you will. One of the great things I like is, when people ask me, well, why do you do what you do? I say every day we get to be somebody's hero. So the rapid response that we offer, being available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, these are all things that are important, especially when that phone rings in the middle of the night.
Absolutely.
The other things that we look at is that we offer one point of contact. Instead of having to go after 2 or 3 or 4 different vendors to take care of this overall problem, you just have one number to call. So it's kind of like a one-stop
nice.
shop. And I brought like a quick example
Perfect.
just to show you. This is a large fire loss here in our market that
Wow.
came into play. And this is what we arrived to when we were called into the scene. And as the phases go through, it's still a job that we're working on, but we took care of all of the cleanup and the demolition of the property. We blasted
Sure.
the foundation
Wow.
to make sure that it was a clean surface to reconstruct. And now we're in the middle of the reconstruction process for that home.
Oh, look at that.
We've already, there's an update. There's a roof that's been added to that as well. So again, we can do everything from start to finish, and that's one of the big advantages that the customer has when they deal with our company.
Wow. I went through a home fire when I was a kid with my family, but you're totally right. Something like that happens. You don't really prepare for things like that to happen. But imagining what my parents must have gone through, not only are you trying to manage your family, but now you have to think about your home. So that's really where you guys come into play.
Right. When people are displaced, I mean, we want to try and put them back to whole again as quickly as possible, and that's really the big thing that we drive for.
Where can people give you a call or come find you before we go?
Well, we're located on Applegate Road, 925 Applegate Road. It's between Park Street and Fish Hatchery Road off the South Belt line. I would encourage people to give us a call if they want to come out and look at our facility, see how we're set up and the kind of the service that we can provide. We would welcome the opportunity to show them.
Beautiful building, so be sure to check it out. Bill Lockwood again with Acquire Restoration, Inc. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And Talk of the Town will be back with more right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and I'm joined now by Martha and Brian. You guys are with Broome Street Theater. You guys are actors in an upcoming play that we can see over there called Esther's Descendants. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And so first I want to start off, I want to know a little bit what this play is going to be about, and I heard it's called a dark comedy. So what does that really mean, and what's it all about?
Well, Esther's Descendants. Esther is a woman that has passed on. Became old and alcoholic and with dementia. She leaves behind a crumbling mansion in swampland to her descendants, those she left behind.
Along with a trail of blood.
A Trail of Blood.
Trail of blood.
Ooh, sounds very thrilling. But it is a dark comedy. So what does that exactly mean?
Well, there are some comedic moments
Sure.
in it, but we do make light of
Okay.
some dark issues and family issues.
Sure.
And there's
Death, dementia, alcoholism.
Yeah.
there you go.
There's
There's a little bit
funny-
of violence.
Sure,
so.
sure. And so now, Martha, your character, you're an actor in this play, and your character was adopted by a Jewish family as an infant. So what were some of the challenges for you as an actor in this role?
Well, first of all, that does not describe me. So there was that.
Sure.
Although, you know, in the Jewish diaspora, there's always been diversity
Yeah.
in Judaism, and I know lots of people, even here in Madison, who are white Jewish families with black adopted children.
Sure.
So that not so much of a challenge
Yeah.
as I don't know, something that I'm embracing. I guess a little bit of a challenge.
Sure.
But yeah.
Very cool. It's always good to have a small bit of a challenge, but it sounds like it's a relatable role too.
I'm happy to represent
Yeah.
that part of the community.
Absolutely. And now, Brian, your character is a police detective with a dark side. What are the challenges for you in that role?
In many ways, it's like any other part where there are different levels.
Sure.
I think we always hopefully always wind up playing parts that give us different levels to play with. I'm a good guy. Don't listen to her. But with
the dark
dark side, yeah. I mean, I have to balance that, and I have to treat the motivation coming from a different place than just genuine kindness, say.
Now, the play has a dead character on stage who no other characters can see or hear. So I would think that's a really interesting element, being an actor and trying to play along with that role. So has that been challenging, or how does that work?
Well, don't bump into her and,
Yeah.
and don't look at her and don't react when she says anything, basically.
We always learn that we have to receive what people are telling us and,
Sure.
and respond to that. And this time we still have to, but we can't do it obviously. So
Right.
it's-
Right.
Now, it sounds like this play isn't appropriate for children, that you guys say, don't bring your kids.
Please
Sounds
don't
like.
bring it. Please don't bring
Yeah.
your kids.
Does
Bring
that ever
your
happen where
friends.
people do? You're
Oh,
like, we
yeah.
told you not to bring them.
Yeah. There's language.
Sure.
And mature, situations and some violence or implied violence.
Sure.
I mean, I've got a child, 14, that I may bring because I'm in it, but
Right.
other 14-year-olds maybe I'd say
Sure.
depends on if they're mature or
No.
not. No.
No.
Martha says no.
The
No.
consensus is no.
No.
So where can people go find tickets or go find you guys, or when is the play?
It opens on September 9th.
Okay, so
And
coming up here.
Yes, it's coming up in just a couple of weeks, and it runs Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays through October 1st. And you can get
Tickets online, bstonline.org.
Awesome.
There's a Facebook event. I mean, if you look up Esther's Descendants, on Facebook or on Facebook, you can find us.
And where's the theater located?
It's on Willie Street across from the
Okay.
gas station.
Perfect, so easy to
1100.
find as well.
1119.
Wonderful. Well, Martha and Brian, thank you so much for being with us today from Broome Street Theater. We appreciate it.
Thanks, it's our
you.
pleasure.
And thank you for watching Talk of the Town. You can find us next time only on Channel 57.